All change involves loss. And I'd like to talk to you about a model that actually deals with grief and loss and how we can learn a lot from it and apply it to the many changes that we go through in our lives. Elizabeth Kübler-Ross, you may have heard of her certainly she's a Swiss or American Swiss psychiatrist. And back in 1969, she wrote quite an important book called On Death and Dying. And in that book, she identified 5 stages of grief and loss that we go through whenever we're facing it could be a terminal illness, it could be the grief of or the loss of someone very close to us, or a relationship, or suddenly the loss of a job. Something that's quite traumatic for us and shakes our world, really turns it upside down. And the first stage is really shock and denial. We go into that point where it just cannot be happening. That's a very, very normal reaction. Then this shock actually will often turn into anger and a lot of frustration, where we're really struggling with fighting this change and just trying to find a way out of it, which moves us into what they call bargaining, what she calls bargaining. It's almost like we're bargaining with life, praying with God, a higher power, finding any way that we can say, look, if we act differently, if we just do this, if we promise to do something, can this loss, this change that's coming for us, can it be averted? And after the bargaining often comes, we're moving into sort of a state of sort of extreme sadness or depression, really removing ourselves from sometimes a lot of the day-to-day activities, just feeling really low about dealing with this life change, whatever, as I say, it might be. But it's something usually that is not something you planned. It's an unintentional change. It's being imposed on you. And then we move into the 5th stage, which is acceptance. So it can take quite a while. The main point I'm wanting to make here, though, is that with all change, again, repeating that it comes with loss, even if you're facing a very positive new change, whether you're aware or not, you are having to let go of old patterns. And there were certain things that gave you comfort in the way that life was operating at that time. And we may not be aware of this emotional roller coaster that we go on with any change. And so it's really realizing that we don't have a set pattern that people can go through, and they can be stuck in shock and denial. They can be stuck. You could be stuck in anger. Even if things are moving forward in your life, you can't see it. You can't accept it. You can't get past it. And so sometimes people are dwelling in that trauma, really, that they first experienced when the shock of the change was announced. So realizing that there are many of us who are always going through changes, and you might be surprised that in particular people still seem angry at times, even when things seem to be improving. And it's just very challenging to get through these stages. So that's an awareness I wanted you to realize about loss and change, even if things are changing for the better. We may remain stuck longer than we'd like. I hope you'll be well, you'll find your inner peace, and you'll remember, stay strong.